Glory, glory, Manchester United. And how do you feel to be a Manchester United fan the day after, on this day of podcast recording, the 12th of June, after this bombshell from David Ornstein, the one and only brilliant, dropping a bomb that Ten Hag will be the Manchester United manager for the next 2 years. Ahead is the contract negotiations, and we are going to talk about everything that went down and the outers, the media, the lies, the speculation, what really went down. But moving the page forward, we're also going to talk about the transfer targets, because Manchester United, Eric Ten Hag, Omar Barada, and the new Ineos establishment wants to win trophies. And how we're going to do that? We're going to enter the summer transfer window. Joining us in the studio is a special honorable guest, my gaffer, Dale O'Donnell from Stretty News. And also we'll be joined by Jarvis as per usual. You know what to do. Like and subscribe to this video if you're new, because here we go. Let's hear from Eric Ten Hag.
Hello and welcome to MUFC Realist TV. I'm a member of this channel, but you should subscribe or in this show, here we're gonna look a cow in the ass. Let's go.
Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
I feel welcome. Dit is mijn home and I want to achieve success. Okay?
Okay, we are live, and as Ten Hag said, we are going to achieve success. We are going to turn the page as he's been appointed and ratified to be the next Manchester United manager. And joining me in the studio, I have the brilliant sidekick Jarvis Corner over there, as per usual, and a very special guest. We're talking about Dale O'Donnell, from chief editor from Stretty News. You are on mute, Dale, so you can unmute yourself. How you doing, Dale?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Before we kick on the show, I always ask the question, Dale, how do you feel to be a Manchester United fan today?
Today, really good, because last night we got the decision on Eric Ten Hag's future, and it was a decision I wanted. And there was some doubt with questionable candidates put forward, and I think we were all kind of on edge for the past 3 weeks, almost kind of saying, why United taking so long? But they can't be accused of rushing their decision, and they did their due diligence, and they came to the right conclusion, I believe.
100%. Before I continue asking Jarvis the same question, viewers that don't know Dale, I know Dale, but Dale, tell me a little bit about yourself so the viewers know who you are and how they can follow you and find you.
Yeah, well, my name is Dale O'Donnell. I'm from Ireland, and I've followed Manchester United all my life, and lucky enough to cover the club as a full-time job. And it's a job I love. I don't really call it a job, because I get up in the morning and I talk about Man United. So that's a pleasure. It's not always highs. There are lows we've seen the past season. But people can follow me on Twitter at O'Donnell Dale, and follow my work at Stretty News or the BBC.
Brilliant. Actually, I pinned Dale's Twitter handle in this video description, but I'm going to turn around to Jarvis over there. Jarvis, how do you feel today? After everything that you read?
Opposite, Mick. You have to point in the opposite direction.
Damn. Yeah. Okay. After everything that's been said and done, media speculations, fabricated stories, and you still see the outers and some, I would say some kind of journalists backtracking and trying to defend themselves. Do you feel like this is a victory, Jarvis?
Well, I've seen a couple of YouTube shows today, a lot of salty tears, and I believe some are genuinely disappointed because Ten Hag got to keep his job, but that's life. And I'm personally, I'm very happy that Ten Hag continues, as you all probably know after yesterday's show, and I'm still buzzing, because I think Ten Hag has something special. He can bring us back to glory, former glory, but he needs time. He needs backing. He needs the proper structure, and there's a lot of work to do. So this is just the beginning. It's now, today, or yesterday it begins. We are looking forward. I would say 3 to 5 years. We have to rebuild the training facility, new stadium, all the structure needs to be done. We have to be better at every aspect to compete against top clubs like Manchester City, and that's our
100%.
aim. So
100%.
era comes to an end, and I think time has changed, and now is Man United's time.
Yeah,
again.
100%. Guys, you saw my video upload this morning. I said my piece, what I think. And I think that it's, as a publisher, independent journalist, it's so important to keep neutral stand, like, never take a a left-sided approach to it, like always look at two sides of the story. So me, I'm buzzing over this 100% because this beats Glazeonomics. You got to think about that as well, like, because if you look at the Glazeonomics, what is that? Yeah, well, there hasn't been one single manager that fulfilled the 3 years tenure. It's been the 18 months recycling, like, the hamster wheel, appoint a sack, recruit the wrong personnel, and finally we actually stick to the right man that can take us forward. And I believe, if you're Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out, you shouldn't, because if you love the club, you should absolutely back this. But however, if it was Southgate, we wouldn't, to be honest. Like, guys, go and check out the video that I posted up this morning. It's all I have to say. Like, it's I agree with what Dale is saying. It's been a dire season. Hasn't been easy to press record here after every, covering the Ten Hag post matches, writing articles, and especially when we're losing or drawing, and facing the repercussion and the attacks. So this feels a little bit, to be honest, right? And but before we continue the show, I want to shout out everyone in the VAR room that made it. Please make sure to put your questions in, as we will cover the Q&A section later on. If you want to donate, super chat, that will prioritize to the queue. If you want to become a member, it's only €1 to join to support this brilliant channel. So we're going to talk about the media, creating this narrative today. We're going to talk about, in general, what does it mean Eric Ten Hag is getting a new contract extension, which Dale is going to talk about in an extra 2 years. But then the most important thing, how we're going to compete in terms of the transfer. What is the latest coming out in the transfer market, Dale, as well. So, guys, welcome to the show. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up, finger the like button right now, right here. There's about 100 of you tuning in. Love you to pieces. And Jarvis, who do we have in the VAR room? Legends.
We have a lot of the legends, as usual, always loyal follower of the channels. Lucky Singh is here, Lilies United, Brendan Chapo, big up Brendan, Duncan Belito, the Badger is here.
The Badger, wow, cool.
J United, Johnny K, John Kermode comes in with a great comment. I do personally think with right backing, Ten Hag will win the league again. Plus, Klopp is gone now, and possibly Pep next year. The Premier League landscape will change over the next couple of years. And that's a good point, Johnny K. I agree 100% with that comment. Great. And we have, of course, Jamie Wayne in the house. Who else?
Big up, Jamie.
A little bit. Sandra Myers is in the house. Big
hey,
up,
Sandra.
And Mr. Jack, Mr. Hoff, Mr. Jack Hoff is in
Jack
the
Hoff.
house.
Dale, this is a classic. Jack, Mr. Hoff. We call him Mr. Hoff. So if you read this name, you know what you get.
Yeah, you can say it. You can say it. Jack Hoff.
Jack Hoff.
Yeah. Danny B is in the house. Cooper Andy and Stretty News is also in the chat. Big up, Stretty News.
In the house.
Yeah. Basically, that's it. We have other people, Stephanie and Yale, and
Stephanie Griffith.
Always, and we have now, as we speak, 85 people watching on different platforms. So please hit the like.
Hit the like. What you thinking about? Mayday. We are thinking.
What are you thinking about?
Yeah, 100%. What I'm thinking about is absolutely to start off from the narrative. Dale, you and me, we've been in talk a lot. So, I've been doing some articles for you as well. And, we've been covering Ten Hag press conference, and we noticed a different tune. Ever since, the club banned certain journalists, I'm talking about ESPN's, and, even Simon Stone was banned as well, and Lockhurst and stuff like that. I noticed a different tone after that. Like, it was pretty much a double down on Eric Ten Hag and the club itself, right? You wrote a brilliant piece now, which I want to just bring up here. So media creates a narrative after tactical ploy sees Eric Ten Hag keep his Manchester United job. In all honesty, Dale, what do you think actually went down? Was it initially a sacking in the new establishment mind, or was it more of we're going to assess, we are new custodians of the club, we're just going to assess if we have the right fit who can take us forward, and therefore we informed Ten Hag that we're going to do this process? Or was it more of a creative narrative from the media itself? Like, you work as a chief editor, so walk us through.
I think we have to be very careful in believing every line that comes out of the club in the past 24 hours, because they make it sound as though they're very sure that Ten Hag is the best man for the job, and I don't believe that the whole board believed that, because I don't think it would have been dragged out in such a way. I don't think we would know so much about them meeting other managerial candidates, because some of that was briefed. Because when you meet with these managerial candidates, they are represented by agencies, and they want the media to know that their clients are speaking to Manchester United. So those things can't be kept in a box. And they knew by meeting those managers that it was going to get out. So I don't buy everything we're told. There's elements of the truth in some of the reports that come out in the media in the past 3 weeks. Some reporters got it right. I think the best reporters out there kind of didn't report too much because they didn't want to stick their neck out. They knew what kind of story it was, that it was changing quickly. And they're reporters that, we all know who they are. We hang on to their every word. And when they say something, we listen because they're good journalists. And then there's some that use these stories and they drag it out themselves to create content. And Manchester United creates content like no other football club. For instance, there were stories in the Daily Mail this week about Eric Ten Hag having a glass of wine on holidays with his wife and these pictures. And there was a line in the article about how he was wearing a Hugo Boss cap. Therefore, that kind of suggested that he was staying. They hang on to everything. And we know people that are on social media, what journalists to trust and which journalists take bait.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's kind of like become like a Hollywood insider, like, stenographer or your real journalist. And you and me, we had so many conversations. It's called responsible journalism in a certain ways, right? You should always fact check or have 3 different sources to, curate in a way. But I just feel that, I made a bold statement on Twitter yesterday that 70% of people that are writing about Manchester United are not Manchester United fans. Right, they've just been attached to assignment to write about Manchester United, and they're loyal to the paycheck and they are loyal to the editorial, right? Because as you said, it creates a lot of engagement, a lot of clicks, a lot of revenues, 100%.
To a degree, like, of course, and I don't think they have to be United fans. I think they can still do their job and be good journalists. For instance, one of the best reporters that I can recall covering Manchester United was Daniel Taylor, who used to work for The Guardian. Now he covers football on a greater scale for The Athletic, but he could do so in a way that it didn't matter if he had this affiliation that we have with our football club. Like I think a lot of people would look down on a journalist like me that attaches himself to one football club. They'd look at me and say, can you not open your horizon? Could you not talk about other football clubs? The fact of the matter is, I don't really care about other football clubs.
Yeah, same here.
It's and maybe I'm shallow for that. Maybe they're greater journalists because they look at the game on a greater scale. But we're all different. I think it doesn't matter if you're a fan. I think what the difference is, and some journalists who are United fans fall into this category, is they push agendas. And we've seen certain journalists this year be banned for misquoting or running rubbish stories. And, that's different. That's vindictive. And when you've got journalists in there that are being vindictive against a manager and that, you're bound to rile a few people up.
Yeah, but as a chief editor, like, you have responsibilities there as well. So, of course, you look at profitability, how because running a publication, you need to make money 100%. And what you can see is as a chief editor, you're pushing the story to writers, find this angle, right? You can see that clear and evidential, like, you know, when you look at the press conference that I've been covering ever since Ten Hag's been coming in as well. The first line of questions, you hear Simon Stone from BBC just fishing for some gossip, right? And we fans sitting there tuning in, we would just want to hear how you're going to line up. What is the injury updates, stuff like that. How what's your tactics to beat City or Wolves or Liverpool? But we don't get that. Like, 7 minutes, 8 minutes out of 10 minutes embargoed press conference is just filled with gossip questions. And what I call it, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different answers or result. So they try to sort of bait him in all the time by asking different difficult questions. But I think he's been media savvy. He's sort of caught up to them, right? So that's why I said it's like a Hollywood insider.
I think with Ten Hag it's not so much media savvy. He's not entertaining the media. And since he's come in, he's kind of had that stance that he's obviously been warned. Has people like Louis van Gaal maybe in his ear warn him about the English media and how they're like vultures basically. But he's come in, he hasn't entertained them. And I actually think a lot of this narrative building has come from pundits rather than some journalists.
Pundits, yeah.
A few months ago, you had the likes of Gary Neville, who has since backtracked in the past few weeks, saying he thinks Ten Hag should stay. But he was pushing a bit of a narrative for a while on Sky, and I think that then the narrative grew because the journalists then picked up on it, and they liked what they were seeing. Because all in all, the media are not getting anything from Ten Hag. You don't see Ten Hag trying to be Jurgen Klopp, trying to be every journalist or the camera's best friend. I know he's a bit ratty to journalists, but in the media, he tries to be charismatic in that. Ten Hag is not interested in that kind of thing.
No, 100%.
Getting his job right. And he knows expectations are high at United. He knows last season it wasn't good enough. He hasn't got time for Rio's YouTube channel or whatever. He's got to get the job right at United.
I agree. It's interesting that you say, because you also write for BBC and stuff like that, like, with Alex Turk. And the thing is, I believe that Sky Sports and all them, like, because it's Manchester United, it's the biggest club in the world, and they've been told, like, even if you have Gary Neville sitting there, they've been told, they paid the paycheck, told this line, you know what I mean? And they told the line to have Graham Souness say certain things about Manchester United deliberately as well. It's not that he's
the worst culprits for this are TalkSport. TalkSport will pick a Man United story out of thin air and get like Bondo or Souness to say something utterly ridiculous, and they know that it'll get online engagements for
I would even say go deeper than that. I do respect our colleagues, but ESPN FC is the worst. They are so anti-United. Even yesterday, they did like a hit piece as well. They were not happy, There's Dawson, 100%. There's Oggy, I don't know if we destroyed their childhoods for some reason, but, then you have Shaka there, you have Craig Burley and all them. Absolutely gash, right? But then at the end of the day, I just want to add this to the stage, because you're absolutely right when it comes to pundits, right? So I just want to play my,
Ten Hag.
Yeah, we did it yesterday, but we can see it again.
He cannot
Put it on full screen, Mick.
Cannot manage the team next season. They've got a cup final and they've got a few important games that could mean European football next year or not. They're going to get absolutely hammered by Manchester City. They're going to get annihilated. Arsenal smash them to bits at Old Trafford. I wouldn't even fancy them going to Brighton either. They might not get anything out the rest of the season if they're playing like that. And I just wonder, with so much at stake, even though it's only for 4 games, I wonder whether the board might just have to try to do something here and now and be quite radical about it. He simply cannot manage this team next season. He's not good enough. I've thought it for ages. He's just
so basically
Manchester United.
You see, Michael Owen.
He thought it for ages.
Yeah, and that's the point. Like, you see Scholes is sitting there, like. So this is kind of a sample that. Do you think he's been told to toe this line, or is it absolutely his opinion?
I reckon that's his opinion, because we're talking about Michael Owen.
Yeah, 100%.
But the thing is, there's maybe be a kind of a pressure on some of these guys, or they feel there's a pressure on them to get their moment after that game or after that match to hit a line, you know, to kind of get. And a lot of them fall victim to becoming the clown as a result of that. You know, they kind of pay puppet to that every week. And you see the same ones. Michael Owen, one of my favourite ones from Owen down the years was he was commentating on a game, Premier League game, and it was 1-1 at the time. And he told the commentator beside him, that if it remains like this, the two teams will share a point. And it was like the viewers that weren't aware of the rules of the game, that a draw obviously results in a point. You know, thanks Michael Owen for that.
My point is what I want to get to, and I'm coming to the finish line here, Dale and Jarvis, is because I think that if you look at the Ten Hag outs, they've been influenced because these people are influencers, right? People listen to them, right? If you have a big audience, they will tune into you. They don't have much experience, or they don't think longer than the nose. So sometimes you say you can't see the forest from the tree, right? Just want to add this to the stage as well. I thought that was very interesting, to be honest. This one.
He's a clown. I think he's a clown. That's one word about him.
I think Morney deserves it. He's been here 2 seasons, 2 cups. I mean, they're not big cups, but it's a trophy and they're in it. So they're on about getting Southgate, so that's a bonus, isn't it? He's not coming.
If we give him a chance and keep him around for a little bit longer, hopefully we get some more better players and things turn around quickly.
I don't think he's good enough for the job at Man United. I don't think he's just not improving anything. I think he's getting worse.
I think he's done a great job at the past 2 seasons. I know there was a lot of ups and downs, but I think he's finally getting the momentum going. I think the players are going to be behind him for the next season. I think he's going to do a great job.
Can Manchester United challenge for the title next season with Ten Hag in charge?
No.
Never. So I see this as a different generation, gents. Like, you know, we grew up, like, you know, in the Fergie time, right? And the younger generation that we see now, they've been more influenced by social media, and that is the responsibility of responsible journalism, because you towing this line, you have people that will sort of look at it and say, he's shit, he's this and that, without even taking in consideration of the 360 holistic perspective. Like, use your logic and reasoning, right? You just jump on the line now. Or maybe it's your own ego, like, you know, you don't see it, or maybe you have good standards. But we gentlemen here, I'm third generation United supporters, so I know what standards are, right? And I know that this season hasn't been the best. But if you just say there's no style of play, we conceded too many goals, X, Y, Z, what about, in order to play that style of play, you need to have the right personnel for it. You need to have the proper backing for it. What about the medical staff? Even if you go back to who said it, I think it even was previous manager who came in, Ralph Rangnick as well, said, like, you know, why did Manchester United have so many injuries? I don't get it, right? So it's definitely what has to do with the medical department and everything. It's a conundrum, right? So I've just been laughing today, like, you know, social medias, they're still like, you know, the artists don't really understand it. And I said, like, khalas, enough. The club has done the review. They've spoken to Tuchel. They've spoken to De Zerbi as a free agent. They have the review, and they came to a conclusion that the only man that can take us forward is the current manager. End of story. Close shop. Now back this man. What do you reckon, guys?
Oh, I think definitely 100%. Like, we've no other choice. You know, you have responsibilities as a fan to get behind the team, back the manager. And, you know,
but as a YouTube platform, you also have a responsibility. Like, you know, if you've been following this channel, you never heard me to say Ten Hag out. I always said I have a neutral stand, because I said I'm doubt. The reason why I said doubt is because, yes, I'm born with the standards, but I know that this manager has a pedigree. I've seen him at Ajax. I saw what he's done in his first season. 2 trophies, 3 finals in 2 seasons. That speaks volumes.
I think there's too much of a focus in, maybe it's modern football, because maybe it's the new generation which we're talking about on in or out. You know, it was Moyes in, Moyes out, Moyes shake it all about. It's been the same with all managers. It's, are you a United fan or not? Like I've seen
Yeah,
people
exactly.
on Twitter during the day, and they were saying, "Oh, I wish we lost the FA Cup final because then
Oh my God,
you'll be sacked." Like, to be honest, I'm not the kind of person that is elitist or kind of say you're not a fan or whatever. But if that's your mentality, I do question whether you're a United fan or not. If you want United to win, fine, of course you do, regardless of who the manager. If you want us to lose to fit your agenda, well, then there's something seriously wrong. And I think that's the biggest problem with these modern fans and being in or out. Are you a United fan first and foremost? If you are,
Jarvis. Yeah, can I ask you, Jarvis? Do you think this generation have lost their ways? I mean, we grew up with this mantra, like, you know, back the team, back the manager, no matter what. You can criticize certain players on the pitch based on the performance, 100%. But you can also see, as a fan, who doesn't fit the system. Do you think that, seriously, like, you know, the people that are Ten Hag out, they just want to service their own ego to say, well, I told you so, I was right. The style of play is shit. He cannot do any. He's got no tactical nuance. Just want to be right. And if you prove them wrong, that they will find a new narrative, a new angle to attack.
Well, I think a lot of the problem when I look at other channels and myself sometimes, and when I visit other channels, there's a high degree of certainty in the opinions, and the opinions are based on assumptions rather than facts. And for me, it's quite dishonest, because I understand that you can have agendas, but they need to stop cherry picking and try to consider the nuances of the debate. All the time when we have been talking, I always get this question: Ten Hag, are you Ten Hag in? Are you Ten Hag out? So you have to pick sides. And for me, I don't like that question. I don't like that at all. I want to talk about the details. What's gone wrong? Why I don't, why I'm not liking Ten Hag's in-game management, why I think is wrong with his setup, how his identity of style of play is, and things, because the devils is in the details. Because if you try to dig down, you can actually achieve something. You can figure out what's going on. But for me, this debate about in or out has never been interesting.
I agree, because it's, for me, like, you know, the reason this channel is Voice of Reasoning, always to look logic and reasoning and look, you know, I get it, like, you know, the results hasn't been good, but football is about winning games at the end of the day. If you concede goals, people look, oh, we didn't score that much goals. Well, it's the 3 points on the board that counts, every 3 points, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, like, you know, you have your, you know, you have your opinion if you're out or in, but just broaden your mindset a little bit, like, you know, see the forest.
The thing is, Mick, today with social media, and we know algorithms and how they work.
Negativity sells.
Well, that's one thing, but we are not used to other opinions, because the algorithms zone everything into what we like. So if I hate Ten Hag, YouTube will just show me channels that hates on Ten Hag. That's just the way it is, an algorithm. So in a way, I think we should, as you said, try to widen broaden our horizon and actually speak both sides. And I can understand people who are Ten Hag out, because we came in 8th, -1 goal difference.
Yeah, that's not good enough. I agree.
The football was dreadful at times. And we looked like we didn't have any tactic or style, and his in-game management was wrong. His team selection was bad at times. And so I can fully understand it, that that's just the way it is. But don't tell me to say Ten Hag out because I'm negative to Ten Hag. I just want to have a debate.
No, Dale, you know that fear emotion sells, right? You know, but I always say don't ever let your fear emotions clog your judgment in a way. And I think that's the reason why people like to tune in, because we offer a broad perspective from an educational purpose as well. In terms of moving away from this, Dale, look, they're trying to sort of backpedal now to say that Eric Ten Hag willingness to accept Jason Wilcox's tactical suggestion that this is basically deflecting to say that he's still tactically inept, right? The way I read it. This was from Jamie Jackson, though, published from a aggregator, MUFC MVP, saying Eric Ten Hag willingness to accept Jason Wilcox's tactical suggestion that he used Bruno Fernandes as a false number 9 in the FA Cup final was a key factor in the Dutchman being retained as a manager. Oh my God. How much more do you have to milk the cow? It's like he's not, it's like, hang on, have you watched Ten Hag play before at Ajax?
And
have you played him?
Did you watch the derby in March when Bruno started as a false 9?
Yeah, I mean, now they sort of try to give credit that it's Jason Wilcox that actually saved him and he's still inept by the... You see how they sort of twist it? You know what I mean? Still, just let it go. Let it go.
Are they setting us up for next season that when we lose, it's Ten Hag at fault, and when we win, it's Wilcox to
be the story? Next one is coming in as well. Okay, this coming from Jarvis here. Jarvis, what are you saying here?
Yeah, well, this is what we were talking about. Ten Hag's willingness to accept Jason Wilcox's tactics suggested that he used Bruno as a false 9 in the FA Cup was the key factor in the Dutchman being retained as manager. When you think of it, try to break it down how ridiculous that sounds. Do you think Ten Hag sits in his office and Jason Wilcox comes in and say, Ten Hag, look here, you have to play Bruno in the 9. I've been thinking about this. I'm a football genius. And you, what are you? You're a manager. This is my table. You have to play Bruno. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, your willingness show that you can keep the job. Fantastic, Ten Hag. You know, it sounds so ridiculous. I can't even say it.
Yeah. I think the biggest issue with this, and you kind of raised the point there, is they're pointing it out from the FA Cup win. Now, Jason Wilcox's job is to make suggestions to the team, maybe tactical solutions and whatnot, right? And Ten Hag can take some of those on board. He's the manager, but he makes the final decision. But I think the way in which this is reported undermines Ten Hag's job in that FA Cup.
Still,
let's not forget a tactical masterclass. How for 90 minutes we totally deserved the win over Man City, right?
Outclass Pep Guardiola.
Don't take that away from Ten Hag, but this story is now starting to wind and kind of say that, oh, maybe Ten Hag wasn't all the brains behind that. I think that's a cheap shot.
That's a cheap shot. And now, like, you know, you keep milking the cow, you find a new angle. Another one that I want to bring to this stage as well is, you know, if I add this one as well, just in shocked Manchester United players thought Ten Hag would be sacked before finding out the Dutchman is staying at the club. United players only find out that the club had decided to keep Ten Hag when news broke up publicly late Tuesday night. Matt Lawton. Hubba.
How many players are in the squad?
Well, they're not even here, aren't they?
Just how many players do we have in the squad? About 20,
27.
30? Okay, right. So, well, I know of players that didn't think Ten Hag was going to get sacked, and I'm sure that there was players that did think he was going to get sacked, and I'm sure there's players there that are hoping that he gets sacked because they won't have a future at the club otherwise. The thing is, this is normal, right? In the dressing room at top clubs, not all these managers are popular. Some of the training is not great. So it's just jumping on Man United right now because we're the big story and the Ten Hag news has come out. Again, I don't think this is anything.
Dale, I think it's pretty much okay. Now that story has been milked. They treat it like a transfer, you know, the takeover race. You know, now somebody's in pole position. We have Ferrari, Audi TT, Thomas Tuchel in the pole position. Now we have Poch. Now we have this. Now we have that. One by one, like toy soldiers, they all fell down. They came down to the narrative of one single person, Ten Hag, right? But, however...
Before maybe we have gifts, memberships,
we do?
and super chats.
Okay. And we do.
Don't forget.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I lost my train of thought. I'm dyslexic. So my point is, at the end of the day, the narrative that even came down from Steinberg as well. He's been eating his humble pie lately as well from Manchester United fan. They've been busy, and he's been busy blocking a lot of accounts. So I think it started from Sky News, and then it just felt like domino effects. And they've been treating this like a race, entertaining, creating sensational stuff. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's Manchester United, and we are going to the transfer market to recruit. The fear that I had, though, Dale, was in fact that they decided already. I want to ask you a question because I've been asking a hypothetical question to everyone that I spoke to. Do you think that Ten Hag screwed the original plan over, that they were thinking to sack him in the FA Cup after the FA Cup because they didn't think he will win the trophy?
I have a feeling, yeah.
Me too. Big win for Ten Hag. Yes, we have some super chats and we have Kingdom FC kind. God bless you guys for being reasonable. Jarvis, what do you have for us?
Well, first we have 5 gifted memberships from Jonathan, the legend
Liljenberg from Sweden.
From Sweden, we have 5 new members. We have Limos, Abs, MUFC, Jonathan Ball, Welsh Girl 68, and Adimi Vibanya. Congratulations. Welcome to the team. Remember to thank Jonathan Liljenberg for the gifted memberships. And we have a super chat also from Mr. Liljenberg
from Sweden.
50 Swedish kroner. He said everything we lost, the whole backline, and its most important thing under Eric Ten Hag play style. Just give him a year at least.
100%.
It will be more than a year.
Yeah. Just to summarize the whole thing, gentlemen, what we've been witnessing. I mean, thank God now social media, people are now waking up. The polls after this, Dale, what we said after the winning, the match-going fans, massive support. They're all Ten Hag in, right? Basically because they've seen that this guy, they understood, they've been more clever to understood. Hang on. There's all these injuries, the 46 different injuries, 17 different combinations in the backline. And as soon as they saw that we had a fit backline, it changed. As soon as we started to flood that midfield and played false number 9s, they understood that this guy has a tactical nuance. And they would actually whoop the ass of City, which we didn't get credit for in the media. So to summarize this, guys, it is like Mikel Arteta.
It's embarrassing. It's a disgrace. That's what it is, a disgrace.
It's a disgrace. Do you agree, Dale?
I think it's a disgrace.
It's a disgrace. People, smash that living like button. There is over 200 of you watching. Don't be greedy. It is free. And if you do, you burn extra calories if you are on a diet. We are on a roadmap for 30,000 subscribers. We have brilliant Dale O'Donnell, from chief editor from Stretty News, hosting us today. Jarvis, should we just park this one and just talk about Dale regarding the contract extension? What I'm being hearing is 2 years.
Yeah. Just read out the latest news. Ten Hag offered a contract.
Oh, I have the news
Most
here.
likely.
He's sitting in the middle.
Yeah, Dale. What's the latest on Ten Hag's contract negotiations?
I honestly don't know. Has there been something breaking?
Well, it just came out today. I heard Goldbridge talk about it.
Okay.
United read all of them talking about a 2-year deal from Ten Hag, plus the one he has, so he will stay for 3 years, apparently.
Yeah, it's coming out even from the paddock saying that, this coming from J. Bird Telegraph. Breaking, Eric Ten Hag is expected to sign a 2-year Manchester United contract extension. And this is where we are at the moment. This was discussed, and I think this is the right thing. If they decided, we're going to back it, Eric. Therefore, we're going to give you a 2 years contract extension.
Yeah, I think the main thing with this contract will be to kind of fix out some of the terminology or agreements that were in the previous contract, because that contract was offered by a different Manchester United than the one that's operating now, and they feel they want to offer their own contract on their own terms. And I think one of the biggest factors behind that is Radcliffe and co will not want SEG having the influence they have at Manchester United previously much longer. They want to cut that cord. And I think that's the biggest reason you're seeing this contract talk. I'm not sure about this talk of 2 years, 3 years, whatever. It's hard to say because we've only just got over the hurdle of the managerial saga. Are we going to continue with Ten Hag for a third season? Now he's got 1 year left, but in that 1 year, he's got to prove himself. He still has a lot to prove. He had a great first season. He had a few bumps in his second season, but he came out of it having won 2 trophies in as many years.
Yeah, 100%.
But even myself, his biggest backers, the jury is still very much out as to is he the best man for Manchester United long term. I hope, and I think he is, but he has got to prove himself. Next season is huge for him, huge.
But wouldn't you say that? I agree with you. When he initially signed the contract, he had he had more veto and control in terms of transfers. We've seen that he only used that agency, what you mentioned there as well, and there was some scandals involved regarding that agency in terms of backhanders and stuff like that. That's been cleared out though. But in order to offer him a new extension, there's new ownership in place. There's a new role description, which means that you're just going to be the head coach, and we got to sort that out. We got to amend that contract to say that your role description would just be the head coach. We will do the heavy lifting. We will do all the recruiting, and you will just be managing the team. That makes sense. Like I said that before to you as well, right?
I'll go back to Louis van Gaal, and it was someone close to his camp who featured on a podcast and spoke about his time at Manchester United. And one of the biggest gripes he had was when he came to the club, he was shocked that out of all the big clubs he'd worked at Manchester United as manager, he had to identify the targets. He had to pick them and whatnot. Big clubs have people in those departments. And as fans, we've complained about Manchester United having a proper structure for a long, long, long time. Now we're starting to see that this should benefit the manager. The manager's focus should be on managing the team because that's the way the modern game is. I think Ten Hag went away for his holiday, should take some time off and relax and come back for pre-season, be focused on preparing the players he has for the new season. But the board, the recruitment team, their job now is to get busy, to get meeting agents, start securing clients and whatnot. But Ten Hag, I think, should be focused on the team because we know he's a great coach. You mentioned his time from Ajax. The structure he had there isn't too different than what we're talking about. We have
Overmars.
Yeah.
Overmars. And we had Eddie van der Sar and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's not different. And I can just go back to all the press conference that we covered as well. And he said basically Manchester United is the biggest club in the world. And, I cannot do this alone. I need support. We need to be on the same page. So I'm grateful for all the help and support. Because at the end of the day, in this video that I said this morning, I used an analogy like, you're the mechanic and you're the driver of the car. And no wonder if you're both the mechanic and the driver of the car, things break down. You will never reach the finish line, right? So now you're just the driver, and you have some GPS navigation that will help you. So that's a good analogy, right? Absolutely. So for me, to summarize this, the victory for me is the Glazenomics is out. Player power is out. When I say Glazenomics is that we actually, for the first time since Sir Alex retired, keeping a manager for his full year tenure, meaning allowing him to develop his philosophy and coaching style, right? 2 years is not good enough, right? 18 months. We've seen brilliant managers falling off the sword from the Glazers. We've seen pedigree CVs, what you mentioned, Louis van Gaal, right? At least he had some form of pragmatic style. Then you saw Jose Mourinho throwing his toys out of the pram. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was never supposed to be the full manager. He was an interim. And then the open heart surgery guy that called it out, that started the revolution, Ralph Rangnick, and now Ten Hag. Arguably to say that Ten Hag has been the most successful out of all of them, although Jose won us a Europa League. And he said winning Europa League and finish second in 2016-2017 season was the biggest achievement in my career. Now we can look back and say, yeah, bloody hell, I agree, because of the structure was none there, non-existent.
Is the Europa League bigger than the FA Cup?
No, not for me. I was buzzing. To beat City, I was buzzing.
Oh,
Well, in
yeah.
a way, it is because it gives
It
the
is.
Champions League, and that season we didn't qualify top 4, so we needed to win the Europa Leagues. I would say, in a way, it was bigger than the FA Cup. FA Cup is more traditional, but it's more money in qualifying for Champions League and winning the Europa League at the same time. So for me, I probably rate that a little bit higher than the FA Cup, but it's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm not British. I think British people rate the FA Cup highly.
Okay, guys, we're gonna close this segment. We've spoken about, we had to do this as a forum to speak what's been going on, and now it's turning the page and moving forward. So we got to talk about transfers, and we have some breaking news coming in from brilliant Rush Maino as well. Jarvis, take it away. We have some brilliant breaking news.
Yes, the latest news now is Rafael Varane. He's in talk to join Inter Miami, so he's going to the US on a free transfer. So, guys, do you think that was a wise move to let Varane go?
Dale?
Yes, I do. But after watching the FA Cup final and seeing his performance, it was second to none. And the biggest problem for us this season is that we didn't have Martinez and Varane fit together at any stage. Together, we wouldn't have dropped as many points, and Varane proved that he can still play at a very high level. But United need to lower the average age of the squad. The likes of Varane that do not fit the profile. And we also know we can't just go on the basis of how good he played in the final, because we know how injury prone he is. And we've too many players that are injury prone. So for those reasons, I don't think that he's quite United standard anymore. Definitely time to move.
I think it was more of a finance issue where they say we're not going to renew his contract. He's on 18 million almost a year, so they basically say goodbye. We're going to fizz you out. But if we stick on that centre back, Dale, since we have you here, who are we going to replace him with? Lenny Euro, Brent Waite, or will it be a Todibo? I mean, we're looking for 2 centre backs. Brent Waite, what I heard latest is that Manchester United are the only ones in for Brent Waite. So therefore, they're not going to meet their valuation of 75 million. No way. No way. They're trying with the cheeky bid on 45. But I saw something like, why would we entertain where we're the only one in for him, right? Do you think that the Brent Waite story has legs? Or is it more of a push from the agent side of it, which is Reeves?
It has legs. Manchester United are interested in Brent Waite. But I think what United are hoping for is that there is a situation where we're possibly the only club pushing to sign him, because that gives us leverage with a club that needs to sell its biggest asset to make money, because it doesn't want to be deducted points again in the Premier League next season. So I think there's a lot of factors to play. I don't think Manchester United are going to be ripped off this summer for any player. I think they're going to try and set a precedent because they know the reputation of the club has been tarnished. Agents and football clubs feel they can pull the wool over Manchester United's eyes, and that is something that needs to change. That will change hopefully this summer, where if Everton try and throw a curveball of 70 or 60 million, United say a fee and we're not going above that and stick to that. That's what needs to happen. But the plus thing with Brent Waite is you mentioned 2 other high quality centre backs that are young. And that again gives United leverage that they have alternatives to look at, because they don't have to. They go back to the Harry Maguire deal where we were pushed into spending 80 million. You kind of think at the time, could they not have spent 60 million on a better defender, or 50? Or I'm not taking it out on Harry Maguire, because I think I keep him. He's a player I keep. But just using as an example of United are in a strong position when it comes to Brent Waite. They have alternatives, and it doesn't look like anyone's going to push the boat out to go for that maximum value.
Do you think that they're playing the long game here, based on Everton's financial situation? So
on United's financial situation too, because we need to sell players.
We need to sell players, and we're not going to buy anyone or register anyone before the 1st of July because of the new financial fiscal year, to be honest. So having to said that, Dale, it's so damning. I don't want to see a Harry Maguire 2.0 when we were the only one going in for it and overpaying. So I think that they are just waiting and see, right? Because they know that Everton needs money, 100%, and they will say, "This is a bid, take it or leave it." And that's a smart strategy. But the question to you guys: where will he play? Is he a number 2 to Licha, because he's usually plays as a left-sided centre back?
He can, but he can also play in a back three. So you're signing a
He's two-footed.
You're signing a flexible centre back, and he ticks a lot of boxes that way. He can play out from the back. I think another aspect that I like about Branthwaite is he's a massive unit. He's really, really big. And I think we as a team are quite small against other teams. We're not strong or as tall as them. And especially in the box with corners.
Yes, true.
I'd like to see is a little bit bigger. And that's not a dig at Martinez, because for me he's the first name in the team sheet when fit. But I do think we need a bit of height and physicality, and Branthwaite ticks a lot of boxes for me.
Yeah. He's still young. He's not still the finished article. He's like a Rasmus Højlund, one for the future. But in terms of the right side, of course, we are talking about. I just read an article today that Lille is approving Jonathan Davis and Lenny Euro to leave, and he's been linked to Barcelona. He's got 1 year left on his contract, but Manchester United also in for him as an alternative left-footed. But there's right-footed, sorry. But there's also Inacio as well. And my understanding is also that Todibo deal is easy to make, which is about approximately 25 million. And you might see that United thinks that Todibo, I mean, I know that Ten Hag fancies him. He was looking at him last season. And this is a deal that I can wait because it's easy to do. Which one do you think is more plausible? Todibo, Lenny Euro, or Inacio?
I would like Lenny Euro. 100%.
Me too.
I think that will depend on whether Real Madrid are going to go all out for him this summer or not. But who was the other one you mentioned?
Inacio, Sporting Lisbon.
Yes, that he's linked to Liverpool as well. I don't know much about him as a player. And the other one you mentioned?
Actually, there was Gleason Bremen as well from Juventus. There might be something in it. I mentioned Lenny Euro, Inacio, and Branthwaite. Not Branthwaite, but what did I say? Two players at least, so which is the hottest, which is Lenny Euro and Inacio.
You said Todibo.
And Todibo as well, yeah. Todibo. 3 players.
The thing with Todibo, again, obviously had a spell at Barcelona, a short spell, didn't quite go to plan. And there was a lot of talk of him at the start of the season when Nice were doing particularly well. However, they fell off a bit of a cliff. And I think Todibo's form suffered. But the other aspect of it is, if he is really that good, well, then the guys that are operating at Manchester United now know about that because they've been operating at Nice for a while. They'll know how good he is. And if he can, if they think he can reach the top, it's a deal they'll do. But it's also a deal that if he comes in and if he's bad, they should have known that, So probably wise to stay away from that one, given it didn't quite go to plan at Barcelona. But you did say, and you're right, it could be an easy deal to do. And it would be a shame to miss out on that if he is that good.
But do we have actually a backup? Because you always have for the right centre back position, we have 3 targets. Yeah. For the left one, we seem to have only one, which is Branthwaite. So usually you will have 1 or 2 or 3 lined up. So, okay. But we keep forgetting that we also have on the left side, on the right side, we also have the Willy Kwambala as well.
Yeah, and that don't rule out when it comes to our targets. We might have some primary targets, but I think United will operate a bit more wiser this summer and not being afraid to dip into the championship for a player, for a young player, young prospect. There's plenty of good young players in the championship. Let's not forget too, a market that Manchester United have forgotten almost for years, the South American market. And I know Eric Ten Hag has pushed the club previously that he would like to see that market, being a bit more in there. Now, it remains to be seen if the new United co-owners agree with that.
We might.
But
What happened to Anselmino, Boca Junior?
Yeah, there's an option, but there's a young player you can bring to Europe for a cheap fee, maybe 20, maybe 25 million. But if you wait the year and he goes to a Bologna or goes to a different club in Europe, then you're going to be paying 40, 50 million. And we missed the boat then. That's where United need to be shrewd and get those players quickly.
Sorry, I got a correction from Danny. Absolutely smash on. Inacho is a left centre back. Yeah, I agree. Just too many names floating around. Yeah, he's absolutely left centre back, and he's Portuguese, Sporting Lisbon, but he's an absolutely beast. So cool. I mean, there's one thing that I think there will be priority, guys. We need to sort out, like, no, the Varane replacement. I think that Harry Maguire would stay, and I think they will try to fizz out Victor Lindelof. You still have Willy Kwambala up and coming as well. We've seen giving minutes, but then in terms of right back, what's going on there? Like, we have brilliant Diego Dalot, very good. I think he's going to be captain material in the future. On the other hand, we are linked to say that we're going to get rid of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I don't agree to get rid of him. I mean, Fenerbahce is sniffing around, Turkish league, scandalous offers. But if we get 10 million for him, I don't think we're going to sell him. Like, I think keep him. Like, there'll be moments where he can pocket Doku and stuff like that. Fair play. Like, he's the world's best 1v1 defender, in my opinion.
I think the thing with Wan-Bissaka is there's a year left on his deal, and there's an acceptance on both parties that they might be happy to part ways. For instance, we've been saying on Stretty News for a couple of months now that Wan-Bissaka's preference is to return to London. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean Crystal Palace, although they might be interested. But we don't think that Arsenal, Spurs, or Chelsea are going to be showing interest. So he might be limited for options. But I don't think he's good enough for United either. I don't think he's done a job this season. I don't think he's what Ten Hag wants, because if you look at the targets that United would look at right back, if they have the money to do this business, they'd look at Frimpong. At Bayer Leverkusen. Now, Frimpong is the furthest thing away from Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and probably a bit closer to Dalot. So that tells you that he doesn't necessarily want two different fullbacks. They want
to more have an attacking, bombing fullbacks in a way.
Yeah.
Right. So Frimpong, is that a deal that could be made? Because I saw he was also linked to Barcelona. Barcelona finances 34 million pounds release clause, I think.
I wouldn't be too optimistic based on the amount of money it would cost to get him from Bayer Leverkusen and how many players we would need to sell at a good price to have those funds, because our priorities this summer are going to be centre back, it's going to be left back, it's going to be centre midfield, and it's going to be an attacker.
Left back, which was the next question, Milos Kerkez.
There's a few names around.
Any because I've just been hearing Milos Kerkez and Bournemouth, and they 20 million, but they're probably going to ask for more, 30 million probably. Like, is there anyone else that you've been hearing? It's got to be a Premier League proven player, and in that's the case, who's going to leave? Because you have young Hariyamas coming up as well.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Malacia leave, and I think a decision should be made on Luke Shaw, given the amount of games he misses, not just last season, but it seems to be a bit of a trend that he misses chunks of a season every year.
It's fit for the Euros and stuff like that, yeah.
No, undoubtedly, but I think a decision needs to be made there, because you can't have a player as good as Luke Shaw, who you're reliant on, not available. And he's your primary left back. He's not available. So I think time to sell him, and a serious look needs to be put into that left back. But also, just to clarify, you mentioned the lad at Bournemouth. United don't need to go for top players that are playing in the Champions League every season, because we're not doing that yet. What we need to be buying is young players that are going to hit that curve, that are going to hit that level. But we're playing Europa League next season. So I'm kind of looking at it and hoping that we can start building something a bit like Bayern Leverkusen did this year, a young side that can maybe get to the final, but that gives them that bit of hunger to go on and do something more special for the future. That Bayern Leverkusen side, have a look in 3-4 years, how many of them are playing in Champions League finals. I'd say there'd be at least 3.
Yeah. We're definitely going for someone, but I'm going to move up to the midfield, and Sofian Amrabat is still undecided. Club is looking still to resolve that issue. Sofian Amrabat wants to stay, and there is a deal to be made. I believe it's £30 million you can pay for him. But would you like an Amrabat to stay, though?
If we can get him for under the agreed fee of, 25 million, if we can get him for something like 15 million, maybe 20, he wouldn't be a bad squad option. He's a good professional, didn't cause any problems last season. And when we actually finally played him in his preferred role as a number 6, it paid dividends for us. He was crucial in that FA Cup final. So, look, I wouldn't be upset if we didn't, because I think we could go out and sign a young midfielder who could do a good job for us. But, yeah, I think for 20 million, be a good stock filler for us. Definitely not one of the ones I'd be pushing away.
100%. Jarvis, we still have a couple players coming back. I mean, we have young Collier probably going to be integrated as the number 6. Still young, up and coming. Probably get a few games. But also we look at Dango Jr. also coming in back from. He had a little bit of an injury, but had a little bit of a loan spell as well. But one player that is a game changer, Dale, as well. And I've been hearing that he's no smoke without fire. Genuine interest in Benfica's youngster, 20-year-old João Neves. It's a very difficult deal to make because we are dealing with Rui Costa, Benfica. We know that he says if it's 120 million euro, it's 120 million euro. But there is a deal to be made, it's what I've been told, and United can actually afford it if they do sell a lot of players. You look at just getting rid of Casemiro, that is a replacement. How much do you think that Manchester United will go all in? I see this as a crown jewel. This is a return on investment. It's got value on the market. The next up and coming best hybrid 6 or 8. Very exciting. Low center gravity, stocky, good on the ball.
I'm not disagreeing with what you said as a player, but I think as a deal for Manchester United this summer, it would be an absolute shocker. It would be a booby trap, because we'd be going back down the route of spending a gigantic chunk of our budget on a 19-year-old. And yeah, he's got potential. Yeah, he's young. Yeah, he's brilliant. But it's just a lot on one player. And I think we need to be shrewd. We've got a squad to build. And you could get 3-4 good players for that money.
I've just been hearing, the one that's brokering this deal is not the agent. It's actually Mendes, right? So George Mendes. So he's there, as an intermediate, going back and forward. So the first kind of proposal was rejected. Then you go back to the club. What is the minimum you can accept? Oh, okay, we'll accept 75 million plus add-ons plus sell-on fee as well. If you do decide sell-on.
If you could get a player of that potential, 60 million with those add-ons and whatever, I'd say go for it. I just think when you're talking in the ballpark of 70 and 80 for a 19-year-old, it's just getting ridiculous. And I don't think that we are in a situation right now where we can afford to do that on one player, because we've got such a job to do with getting what we need for next season. Give it a left back, given a forward, a centre back. I just think it's a lot given the fee, and we mentioned Rui Costa, a tough negotiator.
Yeah, but on the other hand, the overall strategic review is to look at, targets, budget, price, and how can they elevate us to get to the winning ways.
Dale, one question. Why do you think we don't have the money to spend this summer? Because apparently they came out today that we only have 50 million to spend. We have heard 35 million of cash. But I read a report from the Swedish Rumble. I don't know if you read it. He broke it down with everything, with the amortization, with the player sales potentially coming in. For example, we made an example. If we sell Jadon Sancho for 20 million, it will bring an extra 70 million to the budget this season because of wages and stuff like that in the next coming years. So as I see it, if we sell a couple of players, there's no limit. And as we currently stand, we can spend up to 260 million pounds.
The reason why
why this myth? Because I hear people say it, but I don't believe it, to be honest. I think we have money to spend.
It's called amortization. Like, what you spend this year doesn't reflect on the books. This being split up in 5 4-year contracts.
See,
so even if
the way I would look at it, I try and kind of ease expectations, and knowing that United for years have struggled to sell players. So we can all talk about we're going to sell X, Y, and Z. Actually selling the players for the money we want is a different task altogether. When we get that money, maybe sky might be the limit. But as of right now, the money is not there to operate, to bring in all these players without selling players. And that United shouldn't be operating that way. The reason it is that way is because of years of Glazernomics, years of overpaying players with ridiculous wages because they were seen as assets, and not doing deals for the health of the club. The club's health has been dragged through the mud. And the new co-owners are not going to just flick a switch and all of a sudden we're spending with the biggest clubs, Madrid and whatnot, getting Mbappe and whatnot. It's going to take a few years. Jim Ratcliffe asked fans to be patient. And I think they will be, but they need to be, because it was said by Ragnick that this club needed open heart surgery. It starts now. This is the first time where they put their feet in. And I mentioned at the start of my little rant before I went on was it's about change in perception. United have been ripped off for years, a bit of an easy club to pull the wool over their eyes. It all has to start now. And it won't. It'll take a while.
And speaking about that, I think you guys wrote a brilliant piece today as well that I want to bring to the stage. Manchester United are willing to listen to offers for the 3 homegrown players, with one certainly to be sold. Did you write this, or was it your colleague, Dale?
It wasn't me. I was away when this went up.
So apparently they're willing.
I don't even know which 3 players the report was citing, to be honest.
Marcus Rashford, Scott McTominay, and it says also Greenwood.
Greenwood will be starting to be sold. The other 2, I don't think McTominay will be leaving. I would be sad to see McTominay go. Rashford, don't know. We don't really know what he's feeling, why he's performed the way he did this season, but he needs to have a talk with himself and decide if he really wants this. Because if he doesn't, then it would be sad to see him go, because there's nothing I love more than seeing Rashford score goals for United. We didn't see it enough.
We had so many talks about it. I call Rashford the Centurion man. He has every second season, he has high scoring season. So this was a dip season. Now he's not part of the Euros.
He's going to win the league next season. Is he going?
Yeah, we're going to win the league. Yeah. There is a certainly good player, Rashford. He just needs to sort himself out. What is your priorities? Look around who you surround yourself with. Dwayne Winnard, your agent, whispering in your ear and stuff like that. His brother and the whole entourage. But in certain ways, if we just move forward, like, Michael Elise is a prime target, what I've been hearing. He's a Manchester United fan, and Chelsea's pushing for it, what I understood, but they are willing to wait. Because what I reported the other day was that United will get that depending on if they sell Greenwood or get rid of Sancho. That is what it's depending on. And the latest thing that I heard, there was some rumblings coming out that, he's agreed personal terms, like that was all BS, right?
Yes.
There's a release clause. Yeah.
Yes, there is a release clause. It's quite a complicated one, like it was last season when Chelsea thought they were close to signing them, and then they realized that the clause didn't apply to them. United will definitely have Alessi down as one of their prime targets this summer. As you mentioned, players need to be sold, maybe Greenwood, Sancho, to make that happen. But you hit the nail on the head when you said they might need to wait. And for Alessi being a Manchester United fan, I think if he's given assurances that the club think they'll go for him, I think he'll wait.
You wait.
He's being pushed right now by people to maybe take on another project, but he has a bit of reluctance to do that right now because something bigger might be in the pipeline.
I think it's also agent trying to make a buck or two to push him, like make a decision. But at the end of the day, the player needs to, the agent needs to listen to the player's wish list, right? What do I want? And if he's willing to wait, welcome to Manchester United, because that is a creative force that we've been missing, right? And 100%, if we speak about Greenwood, then there was some reports to say about Juventus about a 50 million. Oh, hang on. There was a proposal from Juventus, 35 plus add-ons, which then Di Marzio came out to say that deal has been blocked, right? That deal has been blocked. Regarding Greenwood,
not blocked, I think was a mistranslation from Di Marzio. I think he didn't intend it to read that way. I think what they meant blocked by was that Juventus are attempting to block out other parties from signing him. I think they're making it very clear that they're quite aggressively pursuing Greenwood. He's a prime target. It'll come down to whether they can have an agreement with United. What the report stated was that United wanted 50 million euros, whereas Juventus were hoping they could get him for maybe 25, 30 million euros.
Yeah.
But
I think they just appointed a new manager as well. They want him.
Yeah, exactly. So look, this is one that I think does have legs. It's an interesting one though, because we all talk about Greenwood and fans not wanting him back, and I can totally see it. But abroad, further afield in Europe, fans, they're looking at it a little differently, and that kind of baffles me, to be honest with you, because I'm not saying someone doesn't deserve a second chance, and it might be different because it happened when he was at Manchester United, but I'm not sure I'd be too happy if Manchester United were signing a player with accusations like what's hanging over Greenwood's head. I wouldn't be too happy if they were coming to Manchester United, to be honest.
Yeah. No, fair enough. If we can get rid of two players, that's Sancho and that's Greenwood.
And as well, with financial fair play, with him being a homegrown player, it's so much more beneficial to United. So it's a plus to sell him.
Yeah. I mean, there was some reports saying that United demands 40 million in cash up front, basically. And, they will not budge. I think that Juventus is trying on cheeky 135, but the target will be 50 million to get from Greenwood. And, rightfully so, if they can get their money on from a footballing perspective, I think he's a really fantastic footballer. But it will be such a PR nightmare for them to deal with. And this is kind of the headache that they don't want. The reason per se, what I think they set a 40 million, because if they don't get it, they will retain him, bring him back. You don't have to spend money on another striker. But regarding Borussia Dortmund, the big mugs as well, they're trying to sort of sneak their way out to say another loan deal. But there's other targets also from Jadon Sancho, what I understood as well. And the price will be around 40 million, 45 something.
Well, hopefully it gets done soon, because it means then we can buy players.
Yes, true. Then we can buy the Olise. 100%. Okay, well, that's what I think we're going to go for. There's also the striker position, to be honest. And Benjamin Sesko is out. Good on Benjamin. Good on his agent. They decided that, this is too early to move. Development, bumper contract, be the main man. Now, reports coming out that both we are clutching the straws. We are trying to hijack the Xerxes deal. He looks like he's pretty much Milan bound by the looks of it. But there is we're still chasing him, and Arsenal are also chasing him. There's another striker that just came in, a German from Hoffenheim. What's his name? Maximilian Bayer, something. I don't know much about him. But there was a fresh report coming in. Who else are we think we are looking at from the striker position? Are we looking for a Bayer there from Hoffenheim? Are we looking at Cunha? Or are we potentially looking to sort of hijack the Xerxes deal?
I think it'll be interesting to see. You've seen all these young names come in, and I get it, but why not go for someone a bit more experienced? We have Rasmus Højlund there. I'm not saying someone like an Odi Nigalo. I'm not talking that kind of experience. I'm talking maybe 27, 28, a striker maybe hitting his prime, not a prospect, because you can still sign your players under 24, which has been reported by the Independent as United's new strategy. They want players under the age of 24, and you can do that, but you can still make an exception and go out and get that player that is more in their prime or peak. And I think as a centre forward, or filling this squad, that might be what we need now, rather than two young strikers. Although that said, I wouldn't say no to having Sartre.
Yeah, I know that United was very, very interested in Victor Gyökeres. 100 million though, that would be a significant signing. What a player! What a player!
Why? What annoys me is he was playing at Coventry.
Yeah, but he's been having in Coventry. Yeah, went for 21 million.
That's what bothers me. Moises Caicedo is another one. Enzo Fernandez before he went to Benfica. You look at these players, and Benfica pick him up time and time again. They go to Portugal. United, the new board and whatnot, need to get quicker on that. That's something that we can't allow all these talented players come from South America, and we completely missed the boat on them.
Yeah, we missed out on one talented Brazilian last season by basically Jarvis. We were gutted about this one. The Brazilian striker. What?
Marcus Leonardo.
Yeah, we were gutted about it. He went to Benfica.
Yeah, he's a great.
They just hoover up talents, and we lost a left back in Alvaro Fernandez on a cheap deal, but I believe we inserted some good clause in selling clause, and I think we have a good relationship with Benfica whatsoever. I think there could be a deal in negotiation for a João Neves, to be honest. But in terms of the striker, also, Jarvis, you had some other news for us as well, which I trying to shy away from. But okay, this is paper talk in a way, and that is what.
Well, when Fabrizio confirms things and talk about it, it's valid in my opinion. This is a thing that came out with Ten Hag. Ten Hag and his advisors are expected to take a bullish approach to a contract negotiation with Ineos. Ten Hag will not blindly accept what is put in front of him and wants to feel empowered, not be a lame duck manager. So he wants signings to be made that improve the squad, and he wants them to be through the door before United begins the preseason tour in the United States. So he's playing hardball in a way, and I heard that the negotiations is I would say 90% done, and it's a 3-year deal.
Cool.
Latest from Roshmano.
Cool. Of course, he wants to win trophies. He wants to win shit.
Yeah, basically he wants to win shit. That's the thing. We have other I would say not
this one
as valuable. We have Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Sam C reports it, are considering him but I think he will be too injury prone for me, and it's a big red flag when it comes to his injuries in the last couple of seasons. And I think price tag Everton at the moment, they will probably play hardball, but in a way they are forced to sell to get the FFP straight. So well, let's see. It could be a backup option.
Yeah, it could be, but I don't think United will go for big money in Dale for a striker. I think there will be something in cheap,
And I hope it's not Calvert-Lewin.
I hope not.
Well, let's see.
For his presence alone.
A loan deal. Yeah. I like it.
And there's more, Mick. Let's just blast.
No, I'm in favor of Matthias Cunha, 100%. Although he misses a lot, but he's more of a Harry Kane type, like can link up play and create chances for others. Yeah, what's going on here with Fabrizio?
Yeah, we have this from Fab. We have been linked to Lenny Yoro and Jonathan David, and he confirms that Lille are saying they are leaving the club this summer.
Yeah, Jonathan David as well. I read this before.
There could be something in it. And a little bit more about the Juventus are expressing their interest in Mason Greenwood. And apparently this is Simon Jones, but I heard also that Fabrizio has confirmed the rumors with the Juventus. So it got legs as far as I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Fabrizio is the Don, isn't he, Dale? Whatever Fabrizio said is the jungle's law, isn't it? You know him.
I actually think on the journalistic sphere, they're going to give the Don to anyone, especially after last night as well.
Ornstein.
Yeah.
Ornstein.
For me, Ornstein, in terms of being a journalist, he would be
100%.
the one holding the highest regard.
Yeah. Guys in the VR room, it's time for your Q&As. We are running down to extra time, in a way. Thank you, Dale. It's been a fantastic podcast to hear your story, who you are, and your take on it. It will be a very interesting summer. I think the most important thing is to sell to buy, as per what we have to do. Greenwood, Sancho, potentially get some other players out the door, and then as of 1st of July, I think we will start kick on. You might see one signing happening now before the 1st of July, just to see. But it doesn't exclude them, whatever we saw Ten Hag, that we might get a marquee signing. Like we might see the crown jewel being like a João Neves, for instance, because you think about what Ten Hag is missing. He's missing that midfield dynamo. He wanted Frankie de Jong. That didn't happen. He got a Casemiro, which wasn't his first choice. And now he's missing that final piece. And that midfield really missed that piece, to be honest. If we can retain an Amrabat for 13 million, get a deal done, like negotiations with Rui Costa, maybe he will break. Maybe we'll get that. But in terms of the striker targets, guys, I think that Højlund will be the one leading the lines. But I think in a certain ways, guys, whatever we'll get, like Acuna or even Griezmann is available, 10 million. Jesus. I don't know, man. Nobody really knows.
Not the right profile. We will go nowhere
center
near
backs.
Griezmann.
Center backs for me will be the priority. Yeah. Guys, there's about 250 of you watching. Where are we with the likes? Because if we get to 100, I'm done. I'm going to do a chicken dance, am I? Yes. Is it 100?
We are currently on 89 likes.
89. Good. I'm safe. I don't have to do the chicken dance. Okay.
Maybe Dave knows how to do the chicken dance.
I'm no good at dancing, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I will do the balloon dance when we go to 10,000 likes.
So that's unrealistic target. Anyway, any questions from you guys? Come in with your Q&A while we have Dale on. Otherwise, let's close the shop. We have gifted memberships coming in, I think, as well. Big up.
It's from the legend Mano, giving me all this news updates on today's latest transfer news. So thank you, Rushmano, and he's gifting 20 members.
Oh my God!
Thank you, Rushmano, for gifting again 20 memberships. And who do we have as family members, Jarvis?
We have King Slobo TV, Remingo Fletcher, Tina Walters, Dennis Abbey,
Welcome,
Wilmar
Dennis.
D. Woodar, and the Yorkshire Cowboy.
The Yorkshire Cowboy. Yorkshire,
Cowboy.
yeah. Big up
Howdy ho.
Yorkshire.
We have Winnie, Terry Cullen, Busulva Ivan, Mike Scully, Tassie, Gary Walker, Football is the Game, Emma Buchanan,
Emma.
Emotional OST, Mark Cole, Dasa Pants, Joseph Crompton, and Martin Etheridge. And
Brian.
Big
Guys,
up, Brian.
Big up everyone. Give Rushmano all his flowers and love hearts and massive thanks. And welcome to the family. And just a friendly reminder, just you being gifted a membership, that expires in 30 days. If you want to continue, it's only €1 to support this channel. It goes all the way into the content that we're doing. We bring brilliant guests in and stuff like that. So thank you so much for your donation as well. Big up, big up. Yorkshire Cowboy in the house as well. We have some questions to finish off to round up Jarvis as well.
Yep.
Let's start with that.
Start comments if you see them.
Yeah, we start with the Danny B question. Mick, I've seen reports that we initiated a talk with Franco I can't read this one. Mastantuno at River Plate. Oh, that's a River Plate player. Do you know if it's legit? I have no idea, Danny. Do you? Dale, have you heard anything about this one?
I never even heard of the player before.
Never me either. Sorry, can't help you. Next. We have John Johnson coming in as well. There's only one John Johnson. Apparently, the primary targets are Brentwood, Tony, Olise, B. Wilded. How can we afford these three? I think we covered this, right? We need to sell to buy, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, but 3 players coming in. What do you reckon the price tag will be? Braithwaite, 55, maybe 60. Tony, 60. So 120, and
we didn't speak about Tony.
So that's 180 million pounds.
Is Tony the one that we are in for, Dale, or doesn't fit?
I haven't heard that there's been any approach. I know that they would welcome an approach because they're desperate. I know that they were given assurances a little over a year ago that Arsenal would come in for him, but that never happened. And I think their hopes of that move are dead now.
It's dead. He's put himself in the mud there. He's been talking and yapping that he wants to leave, and I think the price is 25 million, something like that. So we will see. Rebbe Bakir is saying, when is the case about 115 cases ongoing in City? There was supposed to be something starting this week, right, regarding the lawsuit against the commercial sponsorship stuff, right? I think the 115 starts in October, right?
They said they gave some data. I'm not too sure. That's something that's going to drag on because you have City coming out now putting a case against the Premier League for the rules. So I don't know. To be honest, date if it's starting is one thing. When's it going to finish? It's going to take forever.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, I don't know, man. They're trying to push it as far as I can, but at the end of the day, we want to see some results, because if they're cracking down on the clubs they're cooperating, Everton, Nottingham Forest, I mean, what are you hiding? Just put the cards on the table. We have another question coming in from J United. How long has Licha been at the club? ? I think it's 18 months, right? How many months has he spent out injured? Don't know. If you want to be serious, Licha needs a good player to cover his injury record. 100%. 18 months it is. How much he's been out injured? I don't know. Is it 6 months?
Just on that one, I don't know the answer for how long he's been out injured this season, but I did look at how many injuries he suffered throughout his career. And Argentina picked up 2 or small injuries, very rarely out. The same at Ajax, didn't pick up any big injuries. So I know there was a kind of, people were looking into it last year. Is he injury prone? I just think last season Licha was very, very unlucky. But I do agree, a cover for a left-sided centre back is needed.
Right. All right. Dale, how much more do you have, or you got to shoot? I'm just concerned about your time.
Give me one more question.
One more question, and we have a question from Kat. Kat is saying, would you buy another goalkeeper? And apparently we are linked to the Suzuki again.
Yes, I would, because Benadir, I think, will be leaving. I think a goalkeeper of his experience, a Turkey international, his age, doesn't need to be sat on the bench where he's not going to get many opportunities. And it will be best for both parties to move on. And hopefully we might be able to make a little bit of profit on that one.
Yeah. Fair enough. I think Celtic is in for him. We bought one of the Turkish international goalkeeper. It's a crime young player to sit on the bench. Apparently we're going to retain Tom Heaton potentially as well. Contract negotiation for Johnny Evans. So you might not even need. My argument is that as a secondary goalkeeper, just keep Tom Heaton, right? a veteran that don't mind just sitting there on the bench and being the bench warmer. People, I want to thank Dale O'Donnell for coming in as a special guest of honor. Thank you, Dale, so much. And
Thanks,
what's installed for you? You're gonna crunch on and do some more articles tonight? Are you working night shift, or that's it?
Yes,
tonight?
I have a column I'm working on that'll be out on Stretty News tomorrow or over the weekend. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to urge you, go follow Dale O'Donnell on his Twitter. It's going to be pinned in the comment section. It's also in the video description. Go check out Stretty News, all the best news you can get regarding Manchester United as well. And we are also collaborating. So, yeah, big up, Dale. Thank you so much for coming in, sir. It was a pleasure to have you. Debutant.
Jarvis, thanks so much, too. Thank you.
Big up, big up.
Thank you, Dale. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Yep, and that was Dale O'Donnell. I hope you really enjoyed. We still have to continue with some questions. We have Jack Hoff coming in with a question.
A little update before we move on.
All right, okay.
There's some development from Ten Hag. He said that there's more than 90% chance that Eric Ten Hag will sign a new contract at Manchester United. The discussion is still ongoing, but the contract length is expected to be until 2027. And this is from Fabrizio Romano. Now you got it confirmed.
Fabrizio.
And this one is kind of interesting. He said that Man United News comes out and say Marcus Rashford has been told his career may reap the benefits of a move away from Manchester United.
Yeah, and that's correct. That comes with the Stretty News article before that Manchester United are willing to sell Rashford, McTominay, and Greenwood.
Yeah, and it's also in Manchester Evening News. The same with Stephen Killen comes out and say Marcus Rashford sent a Manchester United a transfer message after the Ten Hag decision.
Fair enough. You can tell that he doesn't thrive under Ten Hag. He doesn't get along with Ten Hag. And you can also understand that if they decided a style of play, if they want to play more of a sort of a possession-based football, Marcus Rashford is not the man anymore. Like, he's more of a, at counter-attacking footballer, I would say. So if PSG comes in, they would definitely look for him. And that is a massive add-on to the PSR and the FFP homegrown talent straight into the books. What's your take on that, Jarvis? There's no smoke without fire.
Yeah, but we all saw it. I think Ten Hag is mentally gone. He's not a United player anymore, and I think he needs just to change it up, change the club. And I think it's good for Rashford, and it's good for us as a club. So it's a win-win. So for me, there's nothing to think of. If we can get an offer for Rashford, let's say PSG 70, 80 millions, let's go.
I mean, the brilliant thing, he's not in the Euros. So there's no, the deal could be done 100%. Yeah. We know the PSG just lost, Mbappe, so they probably look for a replacement. So I'm not opposed for it. Like, from a player's perspective, I look what's best for the player. Now, wish him all the luck. But is he a Manchester United player? Yes, he was, but not under this new regime by the looks of it. Still going to go to the questions because Jack Hoff had a question. What about Maatsen as a left back? Yeah, not a bad shout. Not a bad shout.
Yeah, what happened to the negotiations with Borussia and Chelsea? Did it break down when it comes to Maatsen?
The thing is that Chelsea do copy paste, right? Whatever we are linked to, they attach themselves to. I don't know. How much do you want for Casemiro, according to Jamie Wayne?
We did the math and we spoke about it. And I think for us to bring in a player like João Neves, we have to sell both Eriksen and Casemiro and free up wages and maybe get I would say around 55 to 70 million. That will be sufficient.
Yeah, we did a calculation. I forgot to mention that what Dale was on. Basically, if you get rid of Casemiro, his wages, which is 7.2 million a year, Casemiro is about 18.2 plus. You get some money for Casemiro, 60, 70. That covers your costs for a João Neves, to be honest, right? You still have money to spend, like small peanuts for a Amrabat, which is 13 million. Off you go. Your midfield is set. We have another question from J United. As we don't have much money, add the sales to our players is a bit slim. Would you be happy with youth promotion to fill gaps? and 2 centre backs, CDM and centre midfielder and striker. Yes, I would, but it's not enough, right? You remember that these are kids. You don't want to burn them out, right? I definitely see evidence is there. Like, you can see the last 3 Premier League games. We had 6 youngsters from the under 21s and academy sitting on the bench. You see Collier is going to be promoted. We see Ethan Wheatley, Harry Amas. So yeah, definitely they're going to be integrated. And I would say no. You will see them in pre-season, but to fill the gaps, they will definitely be as a third choice. Being given a couple of games. We're playing Europa League. 2 centre backs. We still have Kwambala as well, which people not talking about. CDM Collier, as what we explained. Central midfielder, who is that? That could be a Dangor Jr. and the striker could be an Ethan Wheatley. What's your thoughts?
No, I think you're spot on. You know the youth setup, the academy players, and there's a lot of good players. But I think also there will be some unknowns that will come up, take the next step. They had the good season, so there's several. They have this right back. What's his name again? Well, he looks good. So I think there will be chances.
Habib Ogoyene.
Yeah, Ogoyene. Yeah, and we have chances. We are playing League Cup. Group stage of Europa League, so there will be opportunities for us to play the youth this season and give.
Apparently, we are very much seeded in this Europa League draw, so we have a good path. We are. Abdul coming in. What is the situation of Rashford and Lisi? I think we covered that just recently, Abdul, as well. We covered some articles that United are not.
Yeah,
maybe it's a transfer request.
What's the situation with Olise? We didn't cover that.
Well, Lisa, what we covered, what Dale was saying as well, that we are willing to play the long game. We got to sell 2 players in order to fund that deal. Chelsea is pushing for it, but Olise is favoriting Manchester United. Is willing to wait and not in a rush. The release clause is a complicated one, which outlines where he can go and where he can't go. And no matter what, if you still want to trigger that release clause, what Chelsea did last season as well, it got rejected because they got to be approved by the player and the club. So you can see that Chelsea are started to distance themselves. They're looking for the French target as well. What's his name? Douawe or whatever his name. Yeah, which was our secondary target as well. So we will see. I think that Lise has been heavily linked with us as a prime target, based on creativity, what it can offer to the team. It offers something very, very different in terms of crosses into the box and creativity, cutting in. Very talented player. I believe that Olise will transform us on the right wing. But also in the right wing, you got to look at what's going to happen with Anthony Dos Santos. Garnacho, if we sell Rashford, we pretty much are covered with what's his name? Garnacho there. I think Anthony can play that left wing as well. So it's not bad shout. We will have a squad depth, to be honest, right? It's not going to be. It's going to be a positive.
What about Diallo in all of this?
Diallo will stay.
Do you think so?
Diallo will stay. Yeah, he will stay. He can play also in the middle.
Do you think it will stop his development? He's a young, but he come to that age where he needs game time to develop, or his career will end.
No, I don't think so. By the way, we're 96 likes and 4 likes for Chicken Dance. Shit. I'm done. No, I don't think so, because you can look at City squad as well. Everyone gets chances. Everyone gets, it's all about rotation as well, right? You're not going to all of a sudden burn everyone out and have those injuries. So there might be games when Diallo starts. There might be games where you see an Olise start, right?
Yeah.
And the brilliant thing with Amad Diallo, he's flexible. He's such a versatile player. He can play in the middle as well as number 10. So yeah, they'd be very interesting.
Doesn't seem to rate Amad Diallo. When he has his chance, he takes his chances. He scored against Liverpool. He played 2 good games. He played good against Arsenal and was it Newcastle?
Oh no, he rates him,
and he was brought to the final.
Yeah, but he definitely rates him.
Do you think so?
Yeah, he's just doing like he did to Garnacho, slowly,
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Okay. But the difference was, Diallo had a good loan in Sunderland and played in the Championship a full season. Garnacho came straight from the academy.
Yeah.
So why blood Sancho Anthony in, or no Ahmad in? Because he already has the experience and have proven to everybody
Yeah,
that he can
but-
play game week in, week out.
That comes down to what Kat is saying. Pelestri is coming back. I don't think so, because you got to get rid of Pelestri. Pelestri wasn't rated, and something's got to give. Like, you got to fill those positions. Like, if you quit your job, you need to backfill, right? So to recruit another winger in, you need to get rid of either Mason Greenwood or Sancho. Pelestri is I don't know what's going on there. I haven't heard much. Even forgot we have a Pelestri. If he comes back, I don't think he will. I don't think he's rated.
He was good. He was brilliant for Granada. I watched a couple of games and he was always man of the match for Granada. He was levels above a relegation team in Spain.
But you can also, regarding Ahmad, you can just take a step back. And he was actually planned to be part, but he had an injury in the preseason. He did a great preseason, similar to Kobe Mainoo. They got injuries. And then you saw in the later stages that he was sort of slowly introduced. So I think Ten Hag rates him. I think what we've seen about, Ahmad, he's got talent. That perler, that screamer, that volley that he sunk down in the left corner. I can't remember which it was. Which team did we play? We won 3-1, I think. Wow. And the snatch of the victory against Liverpool, that puts you a lot of credit in the bank. So I'll be excited. 97 likes according to Luan France. Damn it. I'm going to get done, am I? 3 more. 3 more likes for a chicken dance. Big up, Luan France. How you doing? There is no more questions coming in here.
Yes, there's more questions. We have questions. We haven't answered all of them. We have this from Jamie Wayne. How much you... Oh, no, we answered that
we
one.
did. I did all the start ones.
This one
We
from
did.
Kat.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did. That was with Dale. That's what we said, like, Beyond is going to be sold and we're going to keep heating.
We have
Lovely
one
people.
here from Gavin Underwood.
Cool. It's yours.
How did your...
Oh, no,
root
it's
canal-
mine. You can read the question to me.
Mick, how did your root canal treatment go? You seem happy.
Yeah, because I'm happy because I don't have any pain and the anesthetic has worn off. And it was actually my first root canal experience. It was a little bit weird. I was sitting there. My jaw is kind of hurting because I was going for 1.5 hours. And it was all this weird machinery. I didn't know what was going on because I had a cloth over, like, only this hole. But I feel good. I feel good because for 2 weeks I've been having this pulsating jaw feeling, being on painkiller. So thank you for asking the question. I'm very happy about that, but I still have to go back a few times and you got to make a crown and whatever that is. This is my first experience. When you have these tooth problems, you can't even eat crispy food. I love crispy. Yeah.
Is the dentist very expensive in Thailand?
No, it's not. Peng Mak Ma, very good. Depends on where you're going. Like, first one I went to was a local one. I was afraid I got some infections. So I have to be on antibiotics. And I came back there to fix certain things and he didn't understand what I was saying. It was a language barrier. So now I went to a professional dental clinic. So it's for root canal, I paid 13,000 baht divided by, what is it? 13,000 baht. It's about what? What is it? It's 1,000 baht is about 1,000 euros, I would say.
Okay.
It's
For a
not
root canal.
expensive. For a root canal with crown and everything. Right?
Well,
In Sweden, I would pay...
You mean 100 euros?
What?
Not 1,000 euros.
1,000
100.
euros, yeah.
Okay.
1,000 euros. In Sweden, you will pay about 30,000, 40,000 for a root canal, which is very expensive. I don't know, in Norway is even more expensive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for your question, Gavin. Any more questions before we close the show? Oh, no, shit. I absolutely got done. Can we confirm we are 102 likes? We are 102.
103.
Okay. Guys, last time I did it, I survived, and I said you will not see me stand up after this, but Okay,
Now
here we go.
We need some
Hair
music.
out.
Music.
100 likes.
Was that good enough? Was it good enough? Was it good enough? And we live another day to see Mick doing a chicken dance. Thank you for your 100 likes, people. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for your Rush Mano for gifting memberships. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we are well, G Wolf. We are fantastically well. We are thriving today. 104 likes. And if you still look at this video in retrospective, please share. Please tell everyone. Please hit the like button. And go follow Jarvis Cocker at Bowley77.
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah.
Feel free.
Leave. And don't forget to leave a comment in the non-comment live section below as well. And Jarvis, most important thing, boost the website's viewings. Go and visit mufcrealisttv. Read all the latest news. Of course, you know, I'm freelancing with the Stretty News, and Stretty News is also on our site as well. We are working on something very exciting, Jarvis. And if you don't mind, I want to sort of share something. We are the first one ever to do this. So,
big up, G Wolf.
Hey. Let me see.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Am I allowed to share this? Yes, I am. Guys, as the transfer window is going to kick on, we have an announcement to make. It's almost there. It's in development. And if you've been following us, we are taking things to the next level. This is for you. For every single donation you put in, super chat, membership, goes straight into development. What we're going to do here is something very unique. We are starting, you're going to be involved, because based on the news, what we're receiving, we're going to bring in a lot of tier 1 journalists like Dale. We're going to put in every single player we are linked in as a rumor. And we're going to have shows where we're actually going to sort of look at the news, and then we're going to have the shows when you can do the transfer hotometer rating. Right? It's going to be very engaging. You can go into the site before we have a show, put like, you know, okay, all right, this is just a sample, like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, attacking midfielder. We know it's just an example, right? But if you see like Mick Ruby here, he's a winger, transfer rumors, right? Mick Ruby, market value 50 million, asking price is 60. You put your vote in. What is the hotometer chance? You put 60%, and you get like, we get a Columbus score. And then we have a weekly hotometer, and then we will have like, you know, oh shit. And then we will actually, who put ads in here? Anyway. And then you will have the hotometer, so we can follow up until it's done deal, right? So we, at the end of the transfer window, we will know exactly how much net spend we did, how much we bought for, how much we sold. And we are the only channel that's offering for you. So please get into the busy summer window, tune into MUFC Realist TV Transfer Corner. This is going to be smashing, Jarvis. I haven't showed you this before, but this is kind of better as well. Let me know what you guys think, because it's like player rating, but you're going to do the transfer rating, but it's going to follow down all the way down to done deal with the player cards.
Yeah. Sounds interesting. Interesting. Mick, are you done with the website? Because we have one question left that we didn't answer.
I just want to share with you, as it's going to be very, very launch soon. Stay tuned.
Yeah, perfect. Question from Welsh Girl 68. Don't you think another preseason in USA is a bad move?
It is. I think we raised a concern regarding this, because in the US preseason tour last season was also part of the reason why we got so many muscle strain injuries. But I think we're starting to recover from the World Cup that happened in Qatar, because that was because I'm president. But now you throw in a Euro in that, and then you're going to go to the preseason tour. I don't think that the players that was they are going to participate in the Euros are going to be part of the preseason. But that is so toxic, right? First of all, you're playing on AstroTurf, Jarvis, and then all the travels up and down the state, all the cumulative flights is taking a toll,
Yeah,
Great question, Wells.
the time zones. US is a big continent, and all the time zones. You go all the way from New York to the other side, LA, and I think is it 8 time zones? 7?
Yeah, it is. It is. And that was a great question by you, Welsh girl, and Jack Hoff was saying that. Anyway, I think that is a brilliant question to finish off. But I personally...
One more.
Wow. Actually, Cat loves you more than me. Okay, go ahead. You can read Cat.
If you win the league, will you do the turkey dance?
What is that? A shish kebab? Go to Turkey?
The turkey?
That is Jarvis's. We both will do the turkey dance. We promise. Will we? Is that all?
Yeah, we can do the turkey dance.
Okay, we can do the turkey dance.
If we win the league, of course.
What is a bloody turkey dance?
Oh
my God. Turkey dance. What have we committed to? Okay. Or the balloon dance. Very concerning. Very concerning.
Yeah. One last update from Roshmano. It's this one regarding Mason Greenwood. It says Juventus are keen on Mason Greenwood, but will struggle to meet the 50 million valuation. A loan with obligations could become one way to figure out the deal, but Italian clubs are also looking at player exits that could help make it possible too. And we have heard about the Chiesa and that winger. I can't quite remember his name at the moment, but you all know who I'm talking about. So it could be a possibility, but I think it will take a little bit of time. And I would just say all these updates came from Roshmano. So please go follow Roshmano on Twitter. He also have his own news channel with updates.
Yeah. Regarding that, I'm waiting from Alfredo Perdula's response on WhatsApp because I did send him today regarding what is the legs regarding Juventus and Mason Greenwood, because I read what Di Marzio was saying, and they might be cheeky looking at, because they know we are interested in the centre back, Bremer. They might sort of include Bremer plus less money, and we get a centre back, and there might be a deal to be made. But they're a stint as well. They don't have the money. And then, that's the thing. So you might end up not selling Greenwood, and he made up coming back to a preseason tour. This is burning issues. Big up Alien Tenor that just joined the stream as well. But we are about to close the shop. Just want to thank everyone. You saw a chicken dance. You saw brilliant Del O'Donnell from chief editor from Stretty News. You saw Mickey Chicken Dance, and you guys were amazing in the VR room. This show would not be anything without you. And join us for the Euros. 100%. We will do a Euro studio, and we will do the transfer as you're going to be part of it. Follow the transfer, do the transfer rating and the hotometer. This is unique. Nobody's ever done it. So hopefully this will be something traditional. Until then, guys, live updates. No other channels do that. We want to be game changers. And we hope to hit the 30K mark. And we overdone it again, Jarvis. We never finish on time. VR, extra time.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I always have fun doing shows with you, Mick, and the VR room. I enjoy it so much, so I can sit there for hours. No stress.
No stress. We should do a 24-hour. Lillis United want us to do a 24 hours marathon, Sean. That'd be...
Yeah, we can do a 24-hour charity stream.
Charity stream, yeah. You guys mentioned a charity. Yeah. Yeah, then that should be a good charity. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. We love you, but we got to leave you. For me, it's late. We've been slaving in the kitchen. We had fun. We had a lot of interactions. We had Stretty News. And what is there more to say other than follow Rushmain on Twitter at MattUTD20. Do that.
20.
Yeah. Jarvis, I'll let you close the shop.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for everybody. Kat, Luan France, Jack Hoff, Yale Malmin, J United, ITNT, Alien Tenno, the Yorkshire Cowboy coming in. Howdy ho, Gavin.
Howdy ho.
The Wootinator, as always. Who else do we have? Rushmano, Origami. I just have to scroll. G-Wolf was here. Thank you, G-Wolf, the legend. Lucky Singh with all his good comments. The United Football Way. I can't mention you all, but no one is forgotten.
Yeah.
We love you all, and thank you for tuning in. It's been a great show, and I'm so happy to have you here. 100 people are watching us at the moment, so if you haven't, remember to smash like, and if this is your first time, remember to subscribe to the channel. We need more subscribers.
Or we do like our mate Kevin, finger that like button, finger that like button. Peace out. Glory, glory, Manchester United. That's all for us. It's been Mick Ruby and Jarvis Cocker. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.